in the quiet corners of your heart, where longing battles with pride, a truth lies buried, forgotten by time, yet alive in every fleeting glance you cast her way. When a woman ignores you, the world seems to tilt, doesn't it? Her silence becomes a mirror, reflecting doubts you've long buried about your worth, your strength, your very essence. But what if I told you that her distance is not a verdict, but a riddle, a puzzle carved in the ancient language of human connection, waiting for you to decipher its meaning? Within the first breath of this tale, I invite you to lean closer, to let the weight of her silence become a key, not a chain. For in the next few moments we'll unravel 7 missteps, 7 traps that men through the ages have stumbled into when faced with a woman's indifference. These are not mere mistakes. They are shadows of forgotten wisdom, and by the end, you'll see her silence not as rejection, but as a call to awaken. Imagine a man, centuries ago, standing beneath a starlit desert sky, his heart heavy with the absence of a woman's gaze. He was no different from you. His pulse quickened at her laughter. His soul ached when she turned away. Yet in his haste to reclaim her attention, he made the first fatal error. He chased her shadow. To chase a woman who ignores you is to chase the wind. It slips through your fingers, leaving you grasping at nothing. The ancients knew this truth. They carved it into stone tablets and whispered it in sacred groves. When you pursue her relentlessly, you signal desperation, a hunger that dims your own light. Instead, pause. Let her absence be a canvas, not a cage. Reflect on why her silence stings. Is it her, or is it the story you've told yourself about what her attention means? This is not weakness. It's the courage to face your own reflection. To face your reflection is to step into the second misstep, assuming her silence is about you. Her distance might seem personal, a blade aimed at your pride, but what if it's not? Perhaps she's wrestling with her own storms, doubts, fears, or dreams you cannot yet see. The man in the desert, he didn't know this. He thought her averted eyes meant he was unworthy, so he pleaded, he groveled, hoping to change her mind. But in doing so, he lost his dignity, the very thing that might have drawn her back. Never beg for her attention. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. It only spills faster. Instead, honor her space. Let her silence be a mystery you respect, not a problem to solve. This restraint is not surrender. It's power, the kind that echoes through time, from kings to poets who knew that true strength lies in stillness. In stillness, you avoid the third trap, drowning her in words. When a woman ignores you, the urge to flood her with messages, explanations, apologies, declarations can feel unstoppable. But words, when unasked for, become noise. The desert wanderer learned this too late. His letters piled like sand, burying any chance of connection. Each unanswered text you send is a step deeper into a labyrinth of your own making. Instead, let silence be your ally. One thoughtful message, steeped in sincerity, carries more weight than 1,000 frantic pleas. Ask yourself, what would a man who values himself say? Speak from that place, or don't speak at all. This choice is a revelation, a spark that lights the path to wisdom. A wisdom that whispers of restraint but roars against the fourth misstep, reshaping yourself to fit her silence. The man beneath the desert stars, his heart bruised by her indifference, once thought he could become what she wanted. He traded his truth for a mask, believing that if he could mirror her desires, she'd turn back to him. But in that act, he lost something sacred, himself. When a woman ignores you, the temptation to mold your edges, to soften your convictions or amplify your flaws, can feel like the only way to bridge the gap. Yet this is a betrayal, not of her, but of the man you're meant to be. The ancients carved this into their stories. A man who bends his soul to please another becomes a shadow, unseen even by the one he seeks. Instead, stand firm. Let her silence be a mirror, not a chisel. Reflect on who you are, not who you think she wants. This is not arrogance. It's the courage to trust that your authentic self is enough, even when her eyes look elsewhere. To trust that your authentic self is enough is to sidestep the fifth trap, seeking answers in others' shadows. The wanderer in the desert, desperate for her gaze, turned to his companions, asking what he'd done wrong, what he should do next. Their voices clashed. Some urged him to fight harder, others to walk away, but none could see the truth of his heart. When a woman ignores you, it's easy to drown in the noise of advice, to let friends, forums, or fleeting strangers define your worth. But their words are echoes, not truths. No one else can know the rhythm of your connection, the unspoken currents between you and her. Turn inward instead. Ask, what does her silence teach me about my own strength? This question is a lantern, illuminating paths no outsider can tread. The wisdom you uncover here is yours alone, forged in the quiet where no one else can follow. Where no one else can follow, the sixth misstep looms, letting her silence define your peace. The desert man, his nights haunted by her absence, let her indifference seep into his days, dimming the stars he once loved. Her silence became his judge, sentencing him to doubt and unrest. When a woman ignores you, it's tempting to let her distance cast a shadow over your joy, to pause your life until she responds. But this is a theft of your time, your purpose, your light. The ancients knew that a man's peace must come from within, not from another's fleeting glance. Reclaim your days. Dive into what sets your soul ablaze. Your craft, your dreams, the laughter of those who see you clearly. Her silence is not your story's end. It's a chapter, nothing more. This choice to live fully, even in her absence, is a defiance that echoes through time, a testament to your resilience. To live fully, even in her absence, is to avoid the seventh and final trap, closing your heart to possibility. The wanderer nearly did this. Her silence felt like a door slammed shut, and he almost vowed never to knock again. But the stars above him whispered a deeper truth. One woman's distance does not define all connection. When a woman ignores you, it's easy to armor yourself, to swear off vulnerability, to shield against future pain. Yet, this shuts out not just her, but the countless others who might see you as you are. Keep your heart open, not to her alone, but to the mystery of what's next. This openness is not naivety. It's the courage to believe in tomorrow. A flame that burns even when the winds of her silence try to snuff it out. The desert wanderer, standing beneath the endless sky, could have let her indifference become his truth, could have let it etch a permanent scar across his hopes. But the stars, those ancient keepers of secrets, reminded him of a deeper law. Her silence is not the end of your story, but a pivot, a moment where the universe invites you to see beyond the horizon. When a woman ignores you, the weight of that quiet can feel like a tomb, sealing you in with doubts and what-ifs. Yet what if this moment is not a burial, but a birth, a chance to unearth truths about yourself that her presence might have kept hidden? As we tread deeper into this sacred unraveling, let's explore how her distance becomes a map, not to her heart, but to your own. A map to your own heart begins with a single step, recognizing that her silence is a teacher, not a tyrant. The man in the desert, his breath heavy with longing, once thought her averted gaze was a punishment, a sign he'd failed some unspoken test. But the truth, whispered by winds older than time, was far kinder. Her silence was not a wall, but a window, showing him the parts of himself he'd ignored, his fears of being unseen, his hunger for validation. When a woman ignores you, it's tempting to see her distance as a verdict, a final word on your worth. But pause. Let her silence hold a mirror to your soul. Ask, what old wounds does this stir? What stories have I told myself about needing her to feel whole? These questions are not chains. They're keys, unlocking doors to a strength you didn't know you carried. This reflection is not surrender. It's the alchemy of turning pain into power. The alchemy of turning pain into power leads you to a profound act, reclaiming your time. The wanderer, his nights once consumed by thoughts of her, learned this under the stars' patient gaze. He'd let her silence steal his days, his laughter, his purpose, as if her attention was the only sun that could warm his world. When a woman ignores you, it's easy to freeze your life, to wait for her response like a sailor watching for land. But time, that sacred currency, slips through your fingers while you linger. Instead, move. Pour yourself into what lights your spirit, your craft, your kin, the dreams you've shelved. Her silence doesn't pause the world. Why should it pause you? This choice to live boldly, to create and connect despite her distance, is a rebellion against despair. It's the kind of defiance that echoes through myths, where heroes rise not by winning love, but by claiming their own fire. To claim your own fire is to embrace a final, radiant truth. Her silence is not your cage, but your wings. The desert man, his heart once tethered to her gaze, found freedom when he stopped seeking her approval and started seeking himself. When a woman ignores you, it's not a command to shrink, but an invitation to expand, to explore who you are beyond her shadow. The ancients knew this. They sang of men who turned loss into legend, who let silence carve them into something greater. Step into that legacy. Let her distance be the wind that lifts you, not the weight that binds you. This is not just survival. It's transcendence, the art of becoming more than you were, not because of her, but in spite of her absence. The desert wanderer, his silhouette stark against the dunes, once believed her silence was a void, a hollow space where his worth dissolved. But as the stars wheeled above, they whispered a secret older than sorrow. What feels like loss is often the forge where souls are shaped. When a woman ignores you, her silence can seem like a thief, stealing your confidence, your clarity, your place in the world. Yet, what if this quiet is not theft, but a gift? A crucible where you learn to stand taller, not for her, but for the man you're destined to become. As we journey deeper into this ancient truth, let's unravel how her distance becomes not a wound, but a compass, guiding you to a power that no silence can dim. A compass guiding you to power begins with a single act, trusting the stillness. The man in the desert, his heart, once a storm of questions, found peace when he stopped demanding answers from her averted eyes. He realized her silence wasn't a puzzle to solve, but a space to inhabit. When a woman ignores you, the urge to fill that quiet with action, to prove yourself, to win her back, can feel like instinct, but instinct can lead astray. Instead, lean into the pause. Let her silence be a sanctuary where you listen to your own voice. Ask, what does this moment reveal about my strength, my fears, my desires? This isn't passivity. It's the courage to trust that the answers you seek lie within, not in her fleeting glance. The ancients etched this into their tales. A man who masters the stillness masters himself. Becoming a beacon no shadow can obscure. A beacon no shadow can obscure shines brightest when you release the need for her validation. The wanderer, his nights once haunted by her absence, learned this as dawn broke over the sands. He'd tethered his worth to her attention, believing her gaze was the measure of his value. When a woman ignores you, it's tempting to let her silence rewrite your story, to see yourself as less because she looks away. But her eyes are not your mirror. Your worth was forged long before her, in the fires of your trials, your triumphs, your dreams. Stand in that truth. Celebrate the man you are, flaws, passions, and all, without needing her nod to confirm it. This is not defiance, it's liberation, the kind that echoes through time, from sages to warriors who knew that a man's value is his own to claim, not hers to bestow. To claim your value is to weave a final thread into this tapestry, letting her silence be a beginning, not an end. The desert man, his heart now steady, saw her distance not as a door closing, but as a path unfolding. Her silence freed him to explore new horizons, new connections, new purposes, new pieces of himself. When a woman ignores you, it's easy to see her quiet as a full stop, a final note in your story with her. But what if it's a comma, a pause before something greater? Open your hands to what comes next, be it love, growth, or a truth you've yet to name. This openness is not hope deferred. It's faith in the vastness of your own journey, a vow to keep walking no matter who turns away. The stars above the desert still sing of this. A man who embraces the unknown becomes its master. The wanderer, his feet steady on the shifting sands, no longer saw her silence as a chain, but as a current, carrying him toward a truth he'd never sought alone. When a woman ignores you, her quiet can feel like a labyrinth, each unanswered moment twisting you deeper into doubt. But what if this maze is not a prison, but a temple? A sacred space where the echoes of her absence teach you to hear your own voice more clearly. As we delve into the final layers of this ancient wisdom, let's uncover how her silence becomes not a barrier, but a bridge to a version of yourself you've only glimpsed in dreams. A man forged not by her gaze, but by the fire within. A bridge to the fire within begins with a single truth. Her silence is not your story's author. The desert man, his heart once tethered to her every glance, learned this as the dunes whispered of eternity. He'd let her distance write chapters of rejection, each one dimming his own light. When a woman ignores you, it's tempting to hand her the pen, to let her quiet define your worth, your path, your peace. But the story of your life belongs to you alone. Seize it, write it with bold strokes, moments of courage, acts of kindness, dreams chased under starlit skies. Her silence is but a single note, not the melody. Ask, what story do I want to tell, with or without her? This isn't denial, it's sovereignty, the kind that kings and poets claimed when they chose to define themselves, no matter who turned away. To define yourself, no matter who turns away, is to dance with the rhythm of your own becoming. The wanderer, his soul now alight, found joy in the simple act of being, his laughter, his breath, his steps across the sand. Her silence had once paused his music, but no longer. When a woman ignores you, it's easy to let her quiet mute your spirit, to hold your joy hostage until she responds. But joy is not hers to gatekeep. Rediscover it in the things that stir your blood. The sunrise, the work of your hands, the bonds that need no proof. This is not escapism, it's reclamation. A vow to live so fully that her absence becomes a footnote, not a headline. The ancients knew this dance. They carved it into stone, sang it in firelight, celebrating the man who finds his rhythm even when the world grows still. To find your rhythm, even when the world grows still, is to embrace a final, luminous truth. Her silence is a mirror, not a mask. The desert man, his journey now his own, saw himself reflected in her quiet, not as less, but as more. Her distance revealed his resilience, his depth, his capacity to love without clinging. When a woman ignores you, her silence doesn't hide who you are. It unveils it. Lean into that reflection. See the man who stands taller, not because she stayed, but because he chose to rise. This is not just growth, it's revelation, the kind that ripples through time, from the first storytellers to you, here, now. Her silence is not your end, but your awakening. A call to step into the vastness of who you can become.